tree of the week, and we've actually got a twinkle of sunshine, albeit watery sunshine in November. And I thought this week and next week we would look at conifers, because conifers are quite important in the landscape at this time of year. Most of the deciduous trees have now lost their leaves. They've lost a lot of that lovely colour that they have. So now we can move into evergreen forms and textures. And the tree that I've chosen this week behind me is Pinus nigra, probably Pinus nigra maritima, which is the Corsican pine. Straight Pinus nigra is the Austrian pine, and its range is Austria, Slovenia and Greece, and it's slightly different in habit. So they're lovely trees. This tree's probably about 100, 120 years old, something like that. They make very substantial trees in the landscape. And we should start with, if you want to raise these things successfully, you should raise them from seed and plant them before they're a foot tall, and they thrive. If you plant them when they're bigger, they tend to not root out so well and aren't so good. All pines have two needles, so they're easy to identify. The needles are formed in clusters, after about 40 years the tree begins to flower and fruit. So it produces flowers in the spring, they're wind pollinated, and you may not realise that it takes about 18 months for a conifer to produce a cone that has seeds in it. So first of all, you get the flowers that are wind pollinated, and then they begin to form these woody cones. And on pine trees, on this particular pine, they're normally in fours, and we'll do a close-up of this later. And so these are the closed up cones, and they actually have seed in them, and when they fall they eventually open up into these things, which you're probably more familiar with, and you often see them in Christmas decorations. And that's a cone that has, one of those which has opened up and shed its seed. And that takes about 18 months, but if you think about making this woody structure as a protection for the seed, basically to keep anything that would eat it off, so that when it actually pops out of there, falls to the ground, it's almost ready to go with it. One of the features of Pinus nigra is this beautiful bark that it has, these deep fissures and this mixture of colours and slightly flaky exterior, which is a lovely enhancement in the winter time. And when the tree gets to this size in what is a limited space, this is one of the most interesting winter aspects of the tree. Although pine trees will live for about 500 years in southern Italy and Corsica, here we'll be lucky if it gets to 150 years old. It's probably about as big as it's going to get. It's around about 30 metres, 100 feet. It's not going to get a whole lot bigger now. And often on these rather deeper, richer soils that we have in this part of England, they eventually destabilise and fall over, which means that they've hit the end of their life, where in other parts of the country and in their natural ranges, they often grow on thinner rocky soils and they latch into them. And Pinus nigra can live 500 years repeatedly in their native habitat.